Okay. Hey, how you doing, guys? This is Share Beer 318. I'm late starting the show today, but at least I wanted to get it go ahead and get it started. Uh yeah, my apologies for that. Um had another late uh night, of course, at work, so let me see. Let me go ahead and get this one started. I had a few questions, right? Like, so it was hey, where did that come from? Oh, okay, yeah. So that was now some of you may have seen I tried that new um I wish I still had the bottle. I don't really have a way to I don't have too much room to save stuff right now, and I wish I could have because I like that bottle. Hey, Barrick, hey, thanks for showing up, man. I
Yeah,
was
me and Mark were having one. We just kept checking to see when you would come on. So Mark will be here in just a second.
okay. Yeah, I just woke up and I was like, ah, oh man, I'm late. Okay.
It's okay. Oh,
Uh,
there's Mark. Yeah, me
hey,
and
there's
Mark
Mark.
were talking earlier.
Oh, okay, cool, man, cool. Right
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because I
Eric
always
and I already solved all the world's problems. You missed it.
yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. Solving problems is important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them out there. So it's
We got through all that minor crap. Now it's time to get serious and clear.
You know, we were talking about Baltimore. We said, hey, let's just give them all a good quality IPA, and everybody's happy.
you know this. I tell you, one unique thing to my situation is I just don't get a chance to watch much TV, and when I do, I usually only have an extra hour, and that hour I've got to make something to eat and eat it, and so a lot
Mhm.
of times
Wow.
I only I'll watch like Seinfeld reruns. You know what I'm saying?
So Lori's watching that right now as we
Yeah, so
go.
I love Seinfeld, or I'll watch like Frasier or something like that. Just something silly. I don't want to. And so I heard some guys at work talking about Baltimore as well as I was leaving this morning, and I have no clue what's you know what I'm saying? Like there's things that go on and people are talking about, and I don't have any idea what they're talking about. Um,
Just
and,
rioting and stuff like that.
oh yeah, yeah,
But
right.
hey, you know what? I was really looking forward to this share beer with you because about 3 days ago I bought. Hold on, hold on.
He's like, man, Joe better come on because I got to talk to him about this.
I bought this,
Oh, right
There you
on,
go.
right on.
and
So
I'm gonna
if both you guys like it, then I'll go out and drop the big
well,
bucks on it this weekend if I can
I don't
find
know
it.
if I'm gonna like it or not. It's
Okay,
still
well,
not open yet.
I don't know.
I watched your review on it, Joe. I see
I
you
haven't
like
even watched Joe's review. So is it a one? Is it a one or two thumbs up from you,
two
Joe?
thumbs up.
It's a
It,
two.
it was a two.
Oh,
Well,
ooh,
since Barrick has it, we'll wait for his
yeah.
judgment, and then if you haven't seen my review,
I'll watch it.
I'll give you my opinion on it again. Um,
Okay.
Well, actually, before you came on, Mark and I were talking about. I'm trying another new one from Florida, which is Up Top IPA, and from Florida, from Sarasota. It's really good. It's
And
just
hmm.
really
all
good.
these small local breweries are popping up. Everybody's doing it in cans. I mean, I
Yeah,
think
and
the canning is becoming kind of the de facto way to do your
Yep.
beer if you start
yeah,
up. Yeah, which is
Everything we're
great.
getting at ABC Liquor right now from Florida is in cans. There's
That's
only
good.
one brewery that's putting them in bottles. Everybody else, the other 8 or 10 of the breweries are putting them in cans.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, it makes all the sense in the world. I think it's great.
Less waste, more compact, lower shipping costs because aluminum cans a hell of a lot less weighty than a glass bottle.
Right.
By a
Yeah.
factor of 5 or 6.
I even kind of wonder what is the entry price getting in. Like now we've heard that the entry price to get in is pricey. But I wonder if you're starting from zero and you don't even have any sort of bottling process, is it more expensive?
Well, I think I think it probably is compared to bottling, but I think what's happening is, especially in the larger areas, I know in Denver they have it, and it's probably that way in Florida now too, where they have people that have portable canning lines that they'll drive up to your brewery.
Yeah.
So they've already done the investment, so you just pay them for it's like you're renting them for the day.
Right. Yeah. They were doing that in Albuquerque as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's just mobile canning is I think is popular as well for because you can have a guy, just for lack of it'll be a few people I'm sure that own that, and then I mean they don't even brew, you know what I'm saying, and that's kind of cool, man. There's a lot of and that kind of leads into one of my questions for the week. I don't know if you guys seen my questions I posted.
Nope.
So one of those questions, and they both kind of tie in together a little bit, was what is next for beer, or what? Let me see. What's new this week in beer? So, but what is next for beer? And that is I just kind of wanted to get a little bit deeper conversation going instead of just or deeper thought process going instead of just I'm getting very bored. I think I've told you that before with the typical beer conversation. Like, what's next for beer? And that seems like that is starting to evolve as well. There's people thinking about different ways to make money in beer without even brewing any beer, and that is one of them.
Yeah.
Mobile canning.
I don't know. I'll go first. I think what Barrick and I were talking about this earlier is that there's so many new breweries popping up. These little nano breweries, like Zach and Skylar. These people that can open up breweries that are maybe a 1 or 2 barrel system where they do a lot of kegs and then they do canning with the mobile canning. I mean, here in Atlanta, there's been 10 or 15 that have opened up in the last year, and they do mostly kegs, but they also do some cans and that type of stuff. And I mean, I think that's the next wave in craft beer is people getting in and setting up small operations, maybe with a tasting room, doing kegs for local bars, and then doing some cans. And that's been a huge growth. I mean, we've tripled the number of breweries in Atlanta in a few years, and a lot of them are those types of breweries.
I think, and from knowing our pal Zach, from the ground level, getting to see the whole process as it evolved and how long it took and what he had to go through, I imagine there was a lot of these wheels already turning because in my area, just since moving here, I've seen a lot of new stuff popping up here and there. You know what I'm saying? You're like that. All these people must have been applying a year ago or so. You know what I'm saying? And they're just getting their feet rolling. They're getting a lot of good positive. What do you call it? Momentum, and that's great. Yeah, what do you say, Barrett?
All right, let me try to draw a quick analogy. In music, there's only so many notes you can play. Okay? In beer making, there's only so many hops, so many malts. So in music, I mean, things change radically. Like from the days of the Doobie Brothers and Allman Brothers and that kind of stuff. where they're making one kind of music to what we have today. Still the same notes and stuff, but I'm just wondering, you know, it's not going to be long when all these beers are going to kind of start tasting somewhat the same.
Yeah.
There's only so many hops in this. You know, my beer that I'm really proud of, my Citra Bomb, I went to Michigan and a guy was making the exact same thing, and it tasted exactly the same. You know, there's only so many hops, so many malts. When's somebody going to really break out? I mean, besides Rogue or whatever the hell their name is, which nobody really likes. I mean, besides the hot stuff. But where's beer going to go in 5 years to break out of this? So, you know, even the home brewers not making stuff like a home brewer like me is making stuff as good as anybody else.
Yeah. I don't know.
Do you understand my question?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And go somewhere.
Yeah, I think we're on the same. We're actually, in a different way, we're asking the same question, like or thinking the same thing. Just it's getting very to me, you know, like once you get into craft beer and then you get over your initial, you know, okay, I got to try this, I got to try that, I got to try that, and there's a lot of stuff coming out. But you know, once you're several years into this thing, okay, and you just keep hearing the same thing over and over and over and over, you're like, there's got to be more to this, right? Because, and it's funny because this has been going on for centuries. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain beers that have been good for forever, you know, and just breweries and brewmasters that are satisfied with that. They've been that for 200-300 years in some cases, and you got to be at some point going, okay, guys, we've been Guinness for how many years, and look at what they're doing now. Even Guinness is asking themselves the same question. Okay, there's got to be another level finally. You know what I'm saying?
Put in a big bottle and charge $38 for it. That's how they do it.
So, what are your thoughts, Brandon?
My thoughts, where it goes from here, honestly, my opinion on this is that, well, if you're making good beer, or you're making great beer, you really shouldn't need to worry too much of where it goes from here. Yeah, keep yourself relevant in the market share and stuff like that. That's important. It's always important. That's why AB InBev airs these commercials all the time to just try to stay in the public eye. I said, yes, our beer is awesome. Yes, our beer is awesome. That's the commercial trying to say, my opinion. One way or the other, I'm not going to say anything, even though I like those beers, but that's just besides the point.
Right.
But what matters at the end of the day is if you keep yourself relevant in the market share, the fly-by-night breweries that, okay, they're making some of these beers, and some of them, they come out over there, yeah, they're okay, but they're not really fantastic. They're just going to tread water so long as the trend continues. But I think eventually we're going to hit a point where the bubble's going to pop, and the best are the ones that are going to survive. You're going to see consolidation. So it's like, okay, you, the small brewery, we'll start contract brewing your beer, for example. Okay, you brew a really good strawberry beer, but the rest of your beers, take them or leave them. We'll brew your strawberry beer for you. We'll buy your company. You might see stuff like that happen. I think it's really where it's going to happen after the bubble pops.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed is that, like,
strawberry beer.
Yes, very, yeah.
Well, I've noticed, I was telling you guys that there's a lot of local Florida breweries lately, and I've tried them all. And they're all the same price, and they all taste similar because there's only so many hops, so many malts you can use. They're all tasting similar. Now, granted, some of them are shit, but most of them are similar. Similar price. So, you know, somebody's got to just do, I don't know, do something.
Yeah.
And that's what.
You know, and actually, I think when you look at the big boy, Budweiser. You when you look at what they're actually doing, I mean, they've been putting out a lot of different stuff lately. You know what I'm saying? I think you've got people over there thinking outside the box too. Like what is next? Like, and you look at how many beers. I just had that other beer. I don't even know the name of it. I never heard of it. Never. You look it up and there's hardly any reviews for it. I think they're trying to do different things with different labels under different contract brewery names, and just trying to find that, asking themselves that same question.
Mm-hmm.
And you've seen ciders pop up a lot lately.
Yeah, cider's kind of the next big thing, it seems.
And actually, the strawberries and all those things.
Oh, those are exploding.
Really?
The malt beverages are exploding. There's I was super tempted to buy another one that I seen because it looks so good. I was like, man, the packaging, everything is just on point, to get you as you're walking by it to go, oh, what was that? You know what I'm saying? And the pricing is right there, so it's big beer. It's you know what I'm saying. The pricing is just $6.99 a 6-pack, $7.99. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Only big beer could afford that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because as you know from our pal Zach, a lot of that price is tax. Who can afford to charge even $7.99 a 6? And still make money.
Yeah, unless they're just brewing crap tons of it. Super cheap ingredients. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I would say meads would be the next big thing, if not for the price of honey.
Yeah. And the fact that all the honeybees are dying too, it's going to get really expensive.
I heard another interesting point, and I know some of you guys are techies and listen to the different tech shows, but I just heard one this morning that airs every Sunday, our pal Leo Laporte, and they were mentioning about farming. Some interesting things, like some farmers don't actually own their own seeds that they're planting.
Oh yeah, that's a huge thing. Monsanto owns the seeds.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like
all the soybeans and the corn and stuff. Yeah.
It blew my mind. I never heard of that.
Yeah.
And so I was hoping Zach would get in here and maybe shed some insight. If there's any farmer out there that knows anything about, or can educate us on farming, I think that's kind of where we're going. Like that's kind of where some of those questions came from. Was can they even do anything different?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I don't really know much about farming, and I think a lot of us don't. And I think the more that we realize what's going on with the farmer, because I think beer gets to the actual grassroots of you want to talk about a natural product. Mm-hmm. I think it is next to just eating a raw vegetable or eating a raw salad or something, where it's actually getting picked out of the ground, you shred it, and you eat it.
Mm-hmm.
I think beer is one step farther than that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's being taken out of the ground, taken of the earth, and fermented, and mashed, and bottled, and we are consuming it.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead, Barrett.
Let me ask you guys something. Here's my thinking, because this is a really interesting question you got going here, Joe. If I sent you, and if you guys send me your addresses, I'm going to send Mark a beer. If you and Joe, you and Brandon send me your address, I'm going to send you a bottle of my beer. Now, here's my point. I'm a guy who makes beer in my home. I don't even all grain it. It's extract beer.
Mm-hmm.
You'll taste that beer and say, this is as good as anything else out there. Nearly as good as anything else out there. So how can these big boys jump into a different league when guys like me, homebrewing, and I can tell you and Mark and Brandon how to make it in a minute, and you'll say, "Wow, I can make beer for 70 cents a bottle. That's as good as anybody else's."
Yeah, but you're not paying the taxes on it. You're making it yourself. So
Yeah, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, why would you want? How can these big boys jump out and really grab you when I'm making something pretty damn close for 70 cents a bottle?
Yeah. Well, the reason is because probably 99.8% of people don't. They want good beer, but they don't want to spend the time to brew it. I mean, just like anything else.
There are a lot of people home brewing now.
Oh yeah, there are a lot, but as far as a percentage of the total beer drinking market, it's probably still less than half of 1%.
Oh yeah, it's a small number. It's definitely.
I used to home brew, and I don't anymore because I just don't have the. I've got only a limited amount of time, so I devote some of that time to something else because I can go to the store and I can get pretty tasty beer for a little bit more, but I can switch it up every week rather than spending my Sunday afternoons brewing beer.
But my point is, Joe was talking about going to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
When guys like me can make something that's, pretty close to Sweetwater, my beer tastes a lot like the Founders All Day IPA.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very similar.
Well, and in all fairness, though, you've always had breweries that were willing to give you the exact ingredients to make their beer at home because you couldn't necessarily get their beer at home. And so home brewing, I think, in a lot of fairness to those craft breweries that were very generous, and some of your bigger breweries that are very old would send out kits so that you could have their beer at home and brew it yourself, and you can have that local beer at home. I would think that home brewing probably was that might have been some of its origins was that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that before bottling became too big and so forth. Hey, here's this, take our ingredients and this is how you make it, and you'll enjoy our beer at your home. So in all fairness there, I think I know what Barrick's asking, though, what Barrick's saying.
You're talking about expanding, it's kind of flattened.
Yeah.
It's kind of, everything is kind of flattened a little bit. I'm making beer fairly close. How is it going to break through in the next 10 years?
Well, how it's going to break through is there's still, even with the growth of all this craft beer, there's probably, I don't know, what do you say, 10 or 15% of beer drinkers drink craft beer. The other 80% still drink Bud, Miller, Coors all the time. And it's still the huge, we think, because we're in it every week and we're talking about it, we seem to, and it's just human nature, we kind of make the assumption that everybody's got to be in craft beer because we're in it. But 90% of the people I know, outside of my beer friends, are still drinking Bud, Miller, Coors.
yeah, they're okay, but and it's kind of the same thing.
You got a buddy that says, "Oh, I don't like that; it's too bitter for me."
Right.
And it's a super mild, barely IPA type beer. And he's like, "Oh, that's too bitter."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Oh, come on! It's got flavor. You just don't like flavor." And he's like, "No, it's too bitter."
Well, I compare it to cars. Cars is something that we all have some knowledge of, but maybe not. If you're not an enthusiast, then maybe you don't know.
Okay, guys.
All those little details. But you have a car company right now that's come along. Now, to get into car building, it takes a lot of coin. Not just anyone. You get people that are super enthusiasts, and they can build one car with one chassis from the ground up. and that takes a while. And you have some startups. There's one here outside of Phoenix that builds automobiles from the ground up, but they can only build so many.
Yeah.
You know, and you have one car company now, one guy that had a lot of money and a fresh idea about where automobiles and where transportation is going in the future, and he started a company and took a lot of beating up, because the big boys, and it's the same thing that's happened with craft beer, the big boys will beat you down, man. If you even start looking like, I mean, they're way up here and you're way down here, but if you even start getting a little closer like this here, you're going to start feeling the heat, you know.
Yeah.
And that, I forget his name right now, but the guy that started Tesla.
Oh, Musk, really, Elon Musk.
Yes, yeah. Elon Musk. He's really onto something, man. I mean, he's really onto something. I mean, he's got this thing happening with these batteries, man, and it is taking things to the next level in automobiles. He's got the way he sells automobiles, the whole dealership experience. He is rethinking out of the box and asking the right questions.
Yeah.
And he's got GM, he's got Toyota, he's got the big boys rethinking what they're doing now.
Yeah.
He's having some success. And that's kind of what I'm thinking as well, is like what I think someone is going to come along and do something so different with beer that we can't really think of. We're asking the question, but I don't think we even kind of know what we're asking in a way, right?
The big thing is all the laws that come into place with distributing beer, and it's kind of the same thing that Tesla's running into.
Right. Exactly.
They tried to pass a bill here in Georgia to allow them to sell without a dealership. All the cars are set up so everybody's got to buy a car at a dealership, and Tesla was like, screw that. We just want to sell cars direct to the public. We don't need a dealership network. We want to sell like Amazon sells, CDs or whatever. Right. And they're fighting, and they're starting to overcome that. But it's the same thing in beer. You've got the 3-tier distribution. Every state's got a different web of laws that beer brewers and beer sellers have to go through. I mean, Zach was talking last week about the thing in Colorado of grocery stores being able to sell full strength beer and all the controversy that's coming up over that. So
and that's a good example as well. You have, and in that case, it's not necessarily big beer. It's the little guys that are keeping that from happening, right? They don't necessarily want to. Was I understanding that right?
Yeah, they don't want it to happen, because if it happens there, then they can't sell. Nobody will go to their little liquor store to buy craft beer. They'll just go to Safeway.
Right.
Yeah. It's a whole shelf-based argument. Personally, a lot of that could be bypassed if the U.S. just went like Germany and treated beer like food. Where if you live in Germany, you could order beer from the brewery and have it delivered to your house.
Yep. Just like how you can order pretzels and off it goes. As long as it meets whatever the minimum requirements are for food, it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
It is food.
And personally, I wish more breweries use flip-top bottles like Grolsch. Of course, this is a European Grolsch bottle because it's brown, but yes, there you go. I do wish they did, because it's easy to reuse so long as you take care of them. Obviously, I didn't take care of this one, but, It's from the late 80s, early 90s, and I got it kind of a hand-me-down, so it wasn't well taken care of, so I can't reuse it. But these sort of bottles are really good. Like I said, you can buy them in bulk, reuse them for home brewing, just use them over and over again. You don't have to get a specialized capping system. Just take care of your flip-top bottles, keep them clean, and all good.
Now, Ishmael is asking, has an interesting comment here. He said, "What about yeast?" He said, "Belgians used to open fermenting, capturing local wild yeast and making beer that way. I am experimenting with wild yeast that is in my backyard or in my house, and see what it tastes. See what that tastes like. Sour beers are also getting popular," and he's right.
Yeah.
Sour beer saisons are super popular right now. It seems like everybody has a saison. But yeah, different variations of yeast, and he's right. Absolutely, there's a lot of companies doing that, playing around with that, and that's pretty cool.
Okay, are you opening that Sriracha, Eric?
Yes.
Okay, Bum gives it 2 bum thumbs up.
Yes, he does.
2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up.
2 bums up. How badass is that? That guy's got
How badass is that? 2 thumbs up. Badass.
Yes, nice.
Would be a good ass depending on.
Nice, nice. So yeah, right now, Barrick has the show. We want to.
At least you didn't say 2 thumbs up my ass.
Now, first I want you to notice the color in the head and of the beer. It's very dark.
That's like a porter. That's like
a
dark.
I think it's.
What do they call it? A brown ale?
It's a stout.
No. I think it's a porter or a stout.
It's a stout. No, it's a
stout.
Yeah, it's a stout.
It's very chocolatey.
It's like Guinness, yeah. So is it like a chili, like a spicy chocolate kind of stout? I think it is, huh?
I want to see. Now, Barrick has seen my review, so he knows my opinion. But I want to see if he gets what I got.
Lori's going to taste it, too.
Yeah, because she likes stouts.
Exactly. Lori, I can't say because Lori wants to try it without my opinion.
The stout evaluator.
She really likes stouts.
Yeah, she likes stouts. I remember that, and she likes chocolate specifically.
So I wonder if, because Rogue makes an awesome chocolate stout.
Oh.
I wonder if they took their chocolate stout recipe and added some Sriracha hot sauce to it.
It wouldn't be unlike them to do that.
Because they got 80% of the recipe right there.
Yeah.
All right.
I would do it.
Here's the difference between Lori and I.
Yeah.
When I first tasted it, now I'm used to hot sauce. I mean,
I'm not.
What's it pronounced? Sriracha or whatever?
Yeah, Sriracha.
Yeah. I put that stuff on like nothing. I like the flavor. It gives a little heat. Lori's not used to that. When I first tasted it, Joe, it was just like you. It was just like an amazing, good dark stout with chocolatey.
And some heat at the back.
And at the very end, now see, now I'm starting to get a little heat.
Yeah,
not bad, not overpowering.
Now put Lori on. I want to see what I want to hear, since she has a different opinion than you. I would like. She
probably gets heat first, chocolate second, I bet.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like she's a spicy person.
No.
I'm not at all. So yeah, I tasted the spice right away, and then the second sip, I tasted the spice and bitter.
Oh, okay.
I didn't taste the stout.
Okay. That's interesting because Barrett got the stout first, then the spice. You got the spice, then the stout. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I was recommending it for people that like hot stuff, because if you don't like hot stuff, if you're the type of person that calls it spicy in the first place, you know what I'm saying?
No, to me, there's just a tiny bit of heat on it.
Yeah. Right.
But basically, when I drink it,
I'm still feeling the burn from it.
Right. Yeah, you will still. It stays with you. I heard what she said. And now, if you don't like any heat, that's the key. If you don't like heat, the minute you hit that, you're done.
Yeah, it's the first thing you're going to get.
It's because it's the first thing you're going to get, and you're not necessarily going to like it, because it is. When I reviewed it, I could see where if you don't necessarily like heat, it's going to be like overwhelming. It's going to be a lot of heat. You know what I'm saying? If you like heat, it's just going to barely be that nice subtle hint of heat that stays with you back here. It like stays in the very back of your throat, down your throat.
Right, Joe.
And
I really like it.
It's, just as a stout alone, it is damn good. Okay?
Very good.
It was damn good. I didn't quite understand 81 score and so forth that it had on Rate Beer and on Beer Advocate, because just as a stout alone, it is good. The look, the body, the mouthfeel was wonderful. It was great.
Yeah. You nailed it, Joe. In my opinion, you said you'd give it an 89. I would give it that same thing. Yeah. Overall, in the style, I'd give it like a 98.
Yeah, it's way up there. Well, I think the reason it's probably getting low is because not everybody likes heat. And if you don't, like you said, if you don't like heat, that's the first thing you get, and you're like, whoa, I'm not drinking, I don't want to drink Tabasco, I want to drink a beer.
Right.
It's not anything like Tabasco.
And the problem is, though, is they're not making any bones about it. Look, Chief.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. This is Sriracha beer, man. You know.
Yeah, they basically take their chocolate stout and added some Sriracha hot sauce.
Now,
hot in big letters. It's hot.
Hot. Yeah. Hot. Hello. Yeah.
Big letters.
I think the only other thing that could have helped it is to have like what some of the salsa makers have is just a meter on the side of it. You know, green to red, and shown maybe possibly how hot it is. Anything to get, because it's so psychological.
Yeah.
It's getting, now I can see, and I didn't put this in my review, but I'm putting it right here. I can see the flip of that. Now, if you're a Sriracha enthusiast, and hello, some people are nuts about Sriracha.
Right, that's me.
If you buy Sriracha and you love Sriracha, I could see the flip of that where you gave it a low score because you didn't think it was hot enough. I can see that as well. It didn't quite have enough Sriracha in it if you're an enthusiast. You know.
Right. But I am an enthusiast, but it's there. I really didn't want it to be overwhelming. Mm-hmm. This, to me, in my opinion, is perfect.
Yeah, I thought it was
great beer with just a little hot sauce on the backside.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it does stay with you for a minute, but it's not like Tabasco sauce burning you. It's more like Louisiana hot sauce.
Okay.
You know, just
Frank's Red Hot. Frank's Red Hot. Yeah. Which I love. That's Chicken Wing Tuesday main ingredient. I think I need to buy that beer. I think I need to buy the beer.
Yes.
But it stays with you, but it's not like burning you. It's just there, and it's lets you know you drank some.
Yep.
You know, something hot. I mean, it's really good. I really like it.
Okay, I'm gonna open up my wallet this week and try to find a bottle of that beer.
And now I noticed on Rogue's website, some people they can actually direct ship their beer to. It's 2 states, but I noticed that they're selling it for $13 as well. I bought it for that exact amount, $13.
Pretty good price.
I spent $14 on it.
Okay, so that's the. I figured it would be $1 higher or whatever.
$13.99, $13.98, whatever. But
right. Yeah, depending on taxes in your area. So, but man, I thought a good buy for, and it's not super high in. What was it? 5 point something.
7.
Yeah, 5.7.
Yep.
It's not overly alcohol.
No. It is. Just as a stout, I loved the way that you could. And you're right, Mark. They probably took one of their chocolate beers, one of the chocolate stouts, and just because, man, the initial, it was so good. You're just like, this is tasty. And then in my review, you're watching me sample it, and I'm like, but I'm not there it is.
That's exactly what happened, Joe.
It's that process. It's like 2 stages in there. It's like, stout, spice. You know what I'm saying? And that spice will stay with you a little while. So it's, that's good. I'm glad he actually had it right here on the
so
show.
There it is, hot stout.
Now, Brandon, what's your experience?
I have not tried it yet, but I've had stouts that have been spiced and stuff like that. Like I've had some that have been spiced with cayenne. One particular was a coffee stout that had a cayenne in it. And one of the things I noticed that the cayenne was there, but as it warned the cayenne was coming out even more and more. And I think it'd be the case with the Rogue Sriracha. If you're looking for the Sriracha, let it sit for a little while, just sip on it, and it will come out a lot more. That's what I'm thinking. I never had it, but that's what I'm thinking is going to happen.
I did try it after my review. Definitely more warmed up, almost room temperature. And it didn't seem to be there was more flavor that came out, but the main those flavors that I had already sampled got a little more intense by a little bit, but it was still the basic same principle of the beer. That heat came after.
Now this is really cold, so if I let it warm up, things will intensify. But wow, I'm really impressed.
I thought it was a fantastic job by Rogue. Ishmael is saying that the
Jody thing.
Ishmael's saying that the Rogue hazelnut beer is one of the beers that got him into home brewing. And he thought the Voodoo wasn't very good. Yeah, I think you ain't gonna get an argument from me. My opinion.
Either.
But Rogue is one of those companies that is doing different things with beer. They are one of those that plays around with it. You have some of the bigger craft breweries playing around with different ingredients, different things. And we all know the one that does it, I think, the most or has the biggest reputation for it is Dogfish Head, and they that he is not afraid to try any damn thing. I mean, he has taken beer to the next century, or the past century, the past couple thousand years, and tried to duplicate he has tried some of the methods of old brewing like they did back in the day. I mean, that once you hear the process, you're kind of like, oh, are you kidding me, dude? That's disgusting. But
yeah.
he's not been afraid to try it, and he is one of those craft brewers that thinks out of the box. And what can we do? I can make a pretty damn good IPA, like Barrick says, and it'll be good, and it'll taste real similar to this guy and that guy. But what else can we do? And he flies to South America, and let's do this, and finds those ancient recipes is some of the things he's played around with. And whether you liked them or not is a whole nother discussion. But at least that has happened, and I commend him for that, for just trying different stuff. And he's big enough now. He's a big enough small craft brewery. Is he still considered small, or there's a new name for him? Isn't there? I heard the name one or two times, and I forgot what category they're trying to put them into. Him and he's definitely smaller than Sam Adams.
Oh yeah, definitely. Sam Adams is, I think, the biggest one. New Belgium and Sierra Nevada are right there. Yeah.
Hey guys, real quick. After drinking a little bit of this, I am tasting the hot sauce on the front.
Okay.
It's not hot. I mean, it's not hot at all, but I am actually tasting the...
You're getting some of the hot sauce?
I'm getting the hot sauce on the front a little bit. Not hot, but I'm actually tasting it.
Yeah, I thought it was a great job, a great blend.
Wow. I agree, Joe.
So that's...
I'm buying a bottle this weekend. We're posting.
Dude, I didn't even notice the cap until the last minute before my review. The cap is very unique too. The top of the cap has the rooster on it, and Rogue's Rooster Sauce. I love that name.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's also called Rogue's Rooster Sauce. I thought that was a nice spin on it as well.
Yeah.
And that's part of that question, I guess, kind of at the 11th hour here of the show as we close. But what new did you try this week? And that's definitely my new beer that I tried this week.
Yeah, I tried a new old beer. If you guys followed me on Untappd, and I think that I posted on Google Plus, although that was the end of the bottle, so I don't really remember. But I grabbed in 2009 Hebrew Brewing out of Brooklyn, New York, does a beer, their anniversary beer, and in 2009 it was the Bar Mitzvah edition, number 13. It was a bomber, and it had 13 malts, 13 hops, and 13% ABV.
Wow!
I bought two bottles. I bought 2 bottles in 2009. I drank one like in June of 2009, and I put the other one in the basement. This Saturday, I took that bottle out of the basement and drank it, and oh my God, it was delicious. It had not lost. It had mellowed out perfectly. It was super flavorful. The alcohol was even more evilly hidden in the middle of the beer than it was. Even brand new, it was still pretty good. It wasn't hot, but it was just a fantastic beer, and I mean, I drank it over like the course of like 4.5 hours. Basically from like 6 o'clock to 11 o'clock almost at night. And as it warmed up, it got better and better. You just started getting chocolate, bourbon, vanilla, dark fruit. Oh, it was just a fantastic beer. One of the best beers I've had this year.
That sounds like one of those moments where you had an aged beer and it was just perfect.
Yeah, and I should have bought a whole case of this stuff because I could have. This stuff would probably still be good for another few years. It hadn't lost anything. It had actually gained something, I think, from.
Wow, 13.
Yeah, so it was. So it was at 6 years old, and it was perfect. It was absolutely delicious.
That sounds like a good one. Wow, that's blowing me away a little bit.
It was like the equivalent of drinking a whole bottle of wine by myself, but it was worth it. It was Saturday night. I wasn't getting anywhere Sunday.
Yeah, that's one of those experiences you just don't want to end, right? You're like, this is, it has to end because you've only got so big a bottle. You're like, it's got to end.
Like it was a 22-ounce bottle. I'm like, the last few ounces, and it's like 10:30, and I'm listening to music, and I'm just like, wow, this is a really good beer. And I've been drinking it since 6 o'clock, 6:15.
The problem when you crack an aged beer like that, and your first sip, you're in trouble. It's trouble because you're like, damn it, I've only got so much of this. You know what I'm saying? And the problem is you've got more beer, but whatever you sip on after that is done.
Yep. And that was the last bottle, and I'm like, it's open. I gotta drink it all, but I don't want to either.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't want to waste it. And I'm like, I should have just bought because at the time it was like $12 a bottle. It was pretty expensive. So I bought 2 bottles, drank one pretty much right away, did my review on YouTube, which doesn't exist anymore, and then put the other one away. And 6 years later, I'm like, well, I didn't go to the beer store. What can I still got this bottle. I'd literally forgotten that I had it. And I was going through one of the boxes, and I'm like, wow, look at this. Let's pop this in the fridge for 20 minutes and, give it a try. And
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is good to hear. That is, because I know what that experience is like. And so when you get, and you put it away and you kind of forget about it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then once that'd be, man, I'm in the mood for that right now. You know what I'm saying? And you have it and stuff. It's just so killer.
Yeah, it was really good, and I'll never have that beer's gone because it's not sold anymore. But it was a great memory. So I guess
no, Mark, that beer is gone because your channel is gone. Google.
That's true. It doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, it's gone.
I don't even know what you're talking about, quite frankly. I mean, what are you even talking about? Yeah, Google has a way of making everything disappear. If it's not on Google anymore, then
it doesn't exist. Yeah, I never had the beer.
Yeah,
I never had it.
What beer? What are you talking about?
Beer? What beer?
Hebrew what? Hebrew National?
Yeah. Hot dogs? That's not beer.
You had an aged hot dog? But quickly as we go, I had another thought on our earlier question. And beer is a direct, I don't know, cousin, if you will, of whiskeys. And I think they're starting to ask the same questions. Whiskey is well known for being a lot of distilleries are hundreds of years old, and I think they are starting to ask the same question. You're starting to see different styles of whiskey and coming out, and I think some of your smaller craft breweries are getting into distilling, and some of that is happening, and they're getting into sodas, and some of that is happening as well. So there is some stuff going on. I didn't want to make it seem like it's not. It's just I just wanted to have that conversation and have that thought process going.
Yeah. No, I was just talking about Rogue. The Sriracha. They're big into craft distill spirits. They do whiskeys. They do I think they do vodka and gin and that type of stuff. So.
Yeah, because if you're brewing beer, you're damn near halfway there to making a whiskey. So
yeah,
I mean, you might as well give it a shot.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, what is it? Once you get past the mash, right? Like,
it's the same process.
You're there. I mean, so why not give it a shot? So, okay, man, we'll let you get to Chicken Wing Tuesday. I've got Taco Tuesday happening later on too.
Okay. So. How about Tamale Sunday? You doing Tamale Sundays?
Yeah, I was thinking, God, there's got to be. There you go. There's got to be something else, man. With we got to have. I've been trying to. Maybe one of our viewers can help us out. I've been trying to find one of those calendars where you get all those silly holidays, like today is National Tamale Day, or today is National Hot Tamale Day, or National.
You do that on Google?
National Tweaks Day. What do you call that though? It's not just national holidays. It's is it quirky holidays or
it's probably something like that. Yeah, there's probably a way to add those on Google Calendar.
Yeah, because I would like to add it into my Google Calendar, exactly, and then whatever day it is, get notified of it. I'd kind of like to, see what all the different, because there's a million of them.
Oh yeah. No, I think if you do a search on Google and you can add it to calendar, because every day's got something. It's like National Rubber Band Day, or whatever. There's always something goofy. There's always a reason to celebrate. Come on. Oh,
Ishmael, real quick as we go out, he says they're teriyaki Tuesday chicken.
Oh, okay.
Little difference. But see, the problem is that you've got a well-established just hot wing chicken Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, it's Hot Wing Tuesday, Chicken Wing Tuesday. It's been going on as long as I've been doing this show. Pam has been cooking chicken wings. I get done doing this show. I go downstairs.
Yes.
And Pam's like, "Here, honey, here's the hot chicken wings." And
yes.
We get some. We put some sour cream and.
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
It's good. It's good.
It's a whole thing. See, he doesn't realize because there's no smell-o-vision. So right now the chicken wing.
I can smell the chicken wings right now.
It's permeating the whole house. See, so it's and then as you get closer and closer down the stairs to the kitchen, it just
it's like the tides, the moon. I mean, it's just all.
It's all part of the. It's romantic.
Life.
for a man, that's romance, baby. That's
right. Chicken Wing Tuesday, baby.
She's serenading you with her chicken wings right now. They're singing to you, man. Yeah.
And then on Wednesday or Thursday, I take in leftovers. And everybody works like, it's Chicken Wing Wednesday. So I just going into the, into work. I go into the break room and everybody's like, Chicken Wing Wednesday.
It's a whole thing, and people don't realize it. It's a whole thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not just Tuesday.
I'm gonna get that on the quirky calendar. Chicken Wing Tuesday, National Chicken Wing Tuesday Day.
Yeah, excellent, man. Well, and you're right about Wednesday because Wednesday's wings at Hooters, right?
That's right. I got my own wings. I got my own Hooters too.
Yeah. I'll leave that alone. We managed to make it through a show. Well, if I say Lime Rita, then we're good. But we managed to make it through a whole show without going there. We made
totally off the track. Yeah, we did pretty good actually. This is probably a record.
I'll make this the show where it's we did all right. This one you could let your teenager watch, I suppose.
Yeah, this is mostly family friendly.
Okay, Mark, enjoy, man. Thanks for
Have a good week, man. See ya.
All right.